There's nothing like a guy who can take down a gorgon with a head full of snakes. Yeah, we're talking about the mighty demigod and the unforgettable hero, Perseus. But in order to prove himself, he had to go on a long journey into the lair of a monster, followed by many more trials. Well, let's start from the beginning. So, in ancient times, King Perseus ruled the mighty city of Argos. The poor guy was stressed out because he didn't have an heir to pass the crown to. So he decided to hit up the Oracle of Delphi, hoping for some good news. But nope, the Oracle hit him with the worst news ever. He wouldn't have a son, but his grandson would one day take over the throne. Now, Perseus has only one kid, a daughter named Danae, and instead of dealing with the family drama, he decided to play it safe and lock her up in the palace forever. Classic move, right? But here's where it gets wild. Zeus, the king of the gods in Olympus, overheard Danae's prayers and decided to play knight in golden armor. He transformed into Golden Rain and snuck her into the tower through some gaps. The Golden Rain fell on Danae's lap, and bam! She was pregnant with Zeus's baby. After a while, a cute little boy was born, and they named him Perseus. But Perseus wasn't a happy camper. He was convinced his brother Perseus was the baby daddy and was scheming to steal the throne. So the king, in his paranoia, decided to punish his daughter and grandson even more. What was his grand plan? He threw her and the newborn bundle of joy into an urn and into the sea. But the gods had other plans. Zeus hit up Poseidon, and they guided the floating urn to Seriphus. Now here's where it gets interesting. Perseus and his mother get the VIP rescue treatment from Dictys, a humble fisherman and the king's brother. Danae stuck around with Dictys, and he took up the dad role for Perseus. Perseus grew up into a strapping young lad, handsome, strong, and brave. One day, they got an invite to a palace party. Dictys and Perseus were all in for some festivity fun. The king, though, had his eyes on Danae. But he was no fool. He knew she had a protective shadow, his son. Then came the king's birthday. As a fisherman, Perseus didn't have anything special that he could gift his father, but he really wanted to win his favor. He offered to get Medusa's head for him. The king agreed and declared that Perseus wouldn't show his face until he managed to kill Medusa. So Perseus was aware that there was a great destiny that awaited him. Come on, he was Zeus's son. That was bound to happen. When the universe dropped a challenge on him, Perseus didn't blink twice. He strapped on his fearless boots and took off on a mission to meet his fate. Perseus left to hunt down the Gorgon Medusa and bring her head home as a trophy. The problem was that Medusa was in hiding and no one knew where she was. Our hero, though, got a little help from his step-siblings, Hermes and Athena. Athena even tosses him her shield for protection, and only the cool Greeks know where the nymphs stashed the monster Perseus needed. Hermes, being the god, guided Perseus. They end up at the cave of the Graeae, or the one-eyed hags of Greek mythology, where these three old ladies shared one eye. Sneaky Perseus got that eye, and the Graeae were left stumbling in the dark. Crafty move, right? Now the hero struck a deal. Perseus would hand back the eye if they revealed where to find the guardian nymph and where Medusa's chillin'. With no other choice, they gave in and revealed where to find her. Perseus handed over the eye, and off he went to meet the nymph, who was totally expecting him. Right off the bat, she hooked him up with some cool gear: winged sandals, a Hades helmet for invisibility, and a special bag for Medusa's head. Thanks to the nymph, Perseus learned that Medusa wasn't always a scary, snake-haired creature. She used to be a priestess, but got on Athena's bad side and got cursed. Now she turned people into stone statues with just a glance. Armed with his new gear, Perseus was on a mission to the lair of the snake-haired lady. Hermes, being a helpful brother, handed Perseus a divine sword, straight from Hephaestus' forges. As Perseus went up to the creature's cave, he spotted not one but two other Gorgons, Euryale and Stheno, the sisters of Medusa. Perseus, wearing the Hades helmet, stealthily entered Medusa's hideout. Inside, he encountered statues of people turned to stone by Medusa. Cautious not to suffer the same fate, Perseus remained alert. Spotting a shadow, he discovered a creature with a bow aiming at him. Quick to react, Perseus hid behind a pillar. Using a reflective shield, Perseus saw Medusa approaching. He dodged her attack, countered, and beheaded her. From Medusa's blood, Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, the golden giant, emerged. To avoid the risk of turning to stone, Perseus placed Medusa's head in a special bag provided by a nymph. With wings on, Perseus triumphantly returned home. The hero had finally proved himself. In the legendary Garden of Hesperides, ruled by the Titan Atlas, Perseus rolled up and introduced himself, all polite-like, as Zeus's kid and the Medusa defeater. But Atlas wasn't buying it. He thought Perseus couldn't handle a Gorgon and told him to hit the road. Perseus, not one to back down, whipped out Medusa's head and bam! Atlas, after giving it a look, turned into a giant mountain holding up the sky. Back in Ethiopia, Queen Cassiopeia was on a bragging spree about her drop-dead gorgeous daughter, Andromeda. The Nereids, offended by the queen's boasting, were like, "Yo, Poseidon, do something." So Poseidon made a tough call. Sacrifice Andromeda to the sea monster Ceto, or the city gets wrecked. The king, faced with a hard choice, decided to toss his daughter into the mix. Andromeda ended up chained to a rock, facing her destiny. Now Perseus was on his way back home when he spotted the stunning lady chained up and instantly fell head over heels. But wait. A sea creature popped up, ready to claim its sacrifice. The sea monster was terrifying, and the hero couldn't free Andromeda without taking it on. Perseus, not one to back down, decided he was going to face off with the beast. Strapping on his winged sandals, he dived into the sea, swinging his divine sword like a boss. But the monster's bloodbath messed up his sandal wings, so he couldn't really fly. The battle went down with Perseus dodging and weaving like a pro. He was all set to land that final blow and boom! Creature was defeated. City and princess were saved. As a big thank you gift, the king of Ethiopia handed over Andromeda to our hero. But wait, if you find the story of Perseus as intriguing as we do, and want more epic tales from Greek mythology, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Anyway, Perseus and Andromeda tied the knot and set sail for the island of Serapis to finish up some hero business. Perseus went back into town, and the king heard about it. He rounded up all his guards to lock down the palace, but Perseus? He was beyond furious. The king's disrespect towards his mom didn't sit well. Now, being the hero in town, Perseus effortlessly pulled together some allies to take on Pella. Perseus and his army marched toward the palace. The king's army had more soldiers, making a bloodbath seem inevitable, but wait, Perseus had a trick. He still had Medusa's head. He asked his soldiers to close their eyes and turned every enemy into stone statues. That's when the king of Pella fled, knowing he'd die if he didn't. Perseus, being a renowned hero, returned the divine gear to the gods and put Medusa's head in Athena's shield, wrapping up his journey with a divine touch. He became famous in Greece, and there were rumors about his potential return to Argos for revenge against his grandfather, King Acrisius, who'd thrown him and his mother into the sea when he was a baby due to a prophecy. And concerned about the prophecy, King Acrisius fled to an unknown location. As the famous hero, Perseus received exclusive invites to various parties and games, showing gratitude to the gods. At one event, he tossed a discus for fun, and fate played its part. His throw hit a nobleman in the audience. Surprise, surprise, it was his grandpa, King Perseus, meeting his end right then and there. So, he accidentally fulfilled the prophecy. So Perseus, unintentionally making waves, becomes the legendary founder of Messina, a glorious city with some serious bragging rights. And guess what? Hercules, the hero of all heroes, rocks the same family tree. Curious about the other fascinating Greek gods and their myths? Click on the video on your screen to dive into the next captivating story.